How do Gen Z and millennials get their news today? The answer to that is social media. Because of people's rapidly declining attention spans, most turn towards social media to get their news. According to a Microsoft research report, increases in media consumption have reduced our ability to focus for longer periods of time. Listening to news podcasts and scrolling through social media have become the gateway to accessing the daily news. The days of reading through the morning paper have transitioned into mornings of scrolling through your newsfeed. According to the Pew Research Center, 18% of U.S. adults say they turn most to social media for political and election news, whereas 25% use news websites and apps, and 16% turn to other pathways such as network TV, radio, and print. With an abundance of easily accessible information available to us, it is no surprise that social media has become the new news outlet.
According to the Pew Research Center, nearly 41% of Americans get their news from TV channels. In many ways, broadcast news has done an incredible job of attracting the attention of consumers. Whether we're talking about the great introductory teases, shocking B-roll, or solid stand-ups, it is more than evident that broadcast news gives journalists the tools to report the news and keep the attention of the audience. And while this is a good thing, it is important for news stations to not get caught up in sensationalism. Unfortunately, this has led to fabricated news stories. In addition to millennials valuing Netflix subscriptions more than broadcast or cable news, some polls show that less than half of Americans trust the media. If broadcast news is to improve in the future for millennials, Gen Z, and future generations, it needs to appeal to them more. And putting sensationalism before the facts needs to end.
Recent issues surrounding biased fact-checking resources used by social media platforms creates a gap in news that is reported. A study from the George Mason University Center for Media and Public Affairs observed that PolitiFact.org, one of the nation's leading fact-checkers, claims Republican content is 3 times as false as the news produced by Democrats. They are biased against spreading Republican news because they claim the party is less credible, despite the exposure of falsehoods within their fact-checking claims. Millennials are directing journalists to produce content on social media platforms regulated by these biased companies and fact-checkers. However, they cannot be allowed to dictate what news the public receives. Looking to the future, journalists need to battle the easy spread of fake news online and prevent their own facts from being stifled.